Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Martha from Martha Is. Today is the second of my March book haul videos. I think it's going to be 3. I think we're going to be able to get through all of them in 3. If it's 4, that might just be a bit much. But never mind, we'll see what happens. So today is video 2. I will link the first part of this little trilogy in the description box down below. And maybe on one of these, if I can figure that out. So today I wanted to take you through all of the books that I've been gifted, either from publishers or Instagram giveaways or from friends and family. And depending on how that goes, I'll start on some of the ones I bought because there's a lot that I've also bought. Cool, let's start. So the first one I have for you is Out of Love by Hazel Hayes. So it's one of those like proofs which is kind of not the normal cover, so I don't know which way to hold it. I was gifted this by Unbound. Thank you very much. And this is going to be published in June 2020. So I will read you the blurb. As a young woman boxes up her ex-boyfriend's belongings and prepares to see him one last time, she wonders where it all went wrong and whether it was ever right to begin with. Burdened with a broken heart, she asks herself the age-old question, is love really worth it? Out of Love is a bittersweet romance told in reverse. Beginning at the end of a relationship, each chapter takes us further back in time, from tragic breakup to magical first kiss. This dazzling debut is for anyone who has loved and lost and lived to tell the tale. So I like anything that's a bit sort of, quirky, or just, imaginative, a bit different, a bit creative. And so the idea of it being told in reverse I think is really interesting. So yes, thank you very much to Unbound for gifting that to me. That is out in June. The second book I was very kindly gifted was the Double X Economy. So this is quite a cool one. It also has like a double-sided proof. So this one was very kindly gifted to me by Phoebe from Faber. Is it Faber? I'm paranoid now that I've got that wrong. Yes, it's Faber. And this is out next month, April. So this is all about how we can be unlocking the power of women. So it says modern slavery is 71% female. 80% of the Earth's farmable surface is owned by men. UK women lose £140 billion a year in wages to the gender pay gap, the equivalent of £10,000 each. When we fail women, we all lose. Giving female entrepreneurs in Britain equal access to capital would add £250 billion to the economy. Allowing women farmers the same resources as men would reduce the number of chronically hungry by up to 150 million. The global economy's wealth would be $160 trillion higher if the gender pay gap was closed. When we empower women, we all win. Yes. Obviously super pro that. So thank you very much to Phoebe for sending me that. The next book I was sent by a publisher, but it was because I won it through a Bookstagram giveaway. So this is The Girl with the Loudoun Voice, which is just such a beautiful cover. And this one has been doing the rounds on Instagram. There's a lot of people who have a lot of love for this book. So this is about Aduni, a 14-year-old Nigerian girl who knows what she wants, an education. As the only daughter of a broke father, she is a valuable commodity. Removed from school and sold as a third wife to an old man, Aduni's life amounts to this: 4 goats, 2 bags of rice, some chickens, and a new TV. When unspeakable tragedy swiftly strikes in her new home, she is secretly sold as a domestic servant to a household in the wealthy enclaves of Lagos, where no one will talk about the strange disappearance of her predecessor, Rebecca. No one but Aduni. As a yielding daughter, a subservient wife, and a powerless servant, Aduni is repeatedly told that she is nothing. But Aduni won't be silenced. She is determined to find her voice in a whisper, in song, in broken English, until she can speak for herself, for the girls like Rebecca who came before, and for all the girls who will follow. So that sounds amazing, and I'm obsessed with this cover. It's so beautiful, and a very nice matching postcard and bookmark. So thank you very much to Team Scepter and Zubs on Instagram for sending me that. The next book I got was a belated Christmas gift because it hadn't arrived in time for Christmas, and this is the Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. And this was a gift from my parents-in-law, and it's one of the Penguin drop cat collections which I collect. It's so beautiful. So very happy with that, and it's yeah, from what I understand, the Joy Luck Club is essentially a classic novel, so I'm looking forward to reading that. The next one is one that I borrowed from my mother-in-law, is Where the Crawdads Sing. This is another one that's been doing the rounds on Instagram, and she read it for her book club and she really enjoyed it, so I asked if I could borrow it, which, I mean, frankly was actually kind of irresponsible on my part, because when am I going to read it? But I'll make an effort. I'll make an effort to read it. I mean, I don't think she's in a rush to get it back. She's already read it, but it's rude. The last two books I was given was this one, The Far Cry by Emma Smith. So this is a Persephone edition. So I was very kindly given a subscription to Persephone for my birthday last year by some friends. So I already have 6 Persephone books, and my friend Emma on Instagram saw that, and she saw this in a shop and asked if I would like it, and I said yes. So it's another Persephone edition, and obviously I haven't read any of the Persephones yet, but I mean, I'm happy to have another one. And then the other one that Emma very kindly gave me when I saw her earlier this month was this one, Night Tiger by I don't know how to pronounce her name, Yang Si Chu. Again, another one I've been seeing on Instagram, and so she had a proof, and so she very kindly passed it on to me. Another lovely, lovely cover. So this one's a historical fiction set in 1930s colonial Malaya. So it's quite a chunky one, that one. So those are all how are we doing for time? Oh, we're fine. You love a long video, don't you? So that's all the books I've been gifted or borrowed. So let's start on some of the other ones that I bought. So if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I am reading the Dalek Prize long list. I had also wanted to read the Women's Prize long list, and it was basically a situation where I'd really kind of had in my head that I wanted to read the Women's Prize long list. I'd never done it before. I kind of started doing it last year and hadn't really planned it, so didn't, but did manage to read the shortlist. And then the Women's Prize long list was announced, and the Dalek Prize also gets announced at the same time. So if you're not familiar with that, the Dalek Prize is a newer, lesser known award, which is specifically for writers who are British born or British resident and are Black, Asian or minority ethnic, BAME. And it was set up really to champion writers from that background, because there wasn't really an award that was doing that. And I think it's in its, I want to say, 3rd year. I don't know why they've chosen to follow exactly the same schedule as the Women's Prize. So the longlist was announced on the same day as the Women's Prize. The shortlist is announced a week before, I think, and then the winner is announced on the same day. I don't know why they've chosen to do that, because it does mean that they get a bit dwarfed by the behemoth that is the Women's Prize, particularly this year as the Women's Prize in the 25th year. Anyway, so I was all set to start reading the Women's Prize. And then the Dalek Prize was announced, and I just started thinking why I should really be prioritising something that has a much a much smaller profile. And I was intrigued by some of the books that were on the Dalek Prize long list. So then I decided I was going to try and read both. And really totally illogical, honestly, because of course I was not going to be able to read 2 long lists. And so then I started reading some of the Dalek Prize. Oh my God. That's the door. I think that's the postman, but luckily my husband is in to answer it. I started reading the Dalek Prize long list and just didn't really get anywhere with Women's Prize, and I started to think as well that I was kind of starting to get a bit disillusioned by the Women's Prize, the way things are done. So for example, the 3rd book in the Wolf Hall, the Thomas Cromwell trilogy by Hilary Mantel, has been longlisted. It wasn't out at the time of longlisting. It's also the 3rd book in a trilogy, so if I wanted to read the whole long list, I also have to read the first 2 books. And to me, that's not, like, I don't like that. I don't like that, also because they're really chunky books. But I really hate, so there's another one called Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. That's not published until next week, and the long list was announced at the beginning of March. I don't understand why they choose to have their submission date so that you can longlist a book that hasn't been published yet, because to me it should be about the readers, you know. We should be involved, and we can't be involved if books haven't even been published yet. And it also then just feels like the award, it feels dodgy, even though, like, yes, I'm sure they would have just been given an early copy and then, you know, and compared it against all the others fairly. But to me, it feels dodgy. And it feels like the award is just there to feed into the hype, because, of course, the fact that it's been nominated for the Women's Prize will help sell more copies of both of those books, you know, help generate the pre-orders. And it just, I don't like that. I don't like that. And it was the same with the Booker Prize last year when The Testaments was longlisted or even possibly shortlisted before it was even published. Like, it feels dodgy to me and I don't like it. And there's also a novel called Girl by Edna O'Brien, which I fully admit I haven't read, but I've been part of some discussions, and to me, again, that one feels a little bit problematic. So it's an older white Irish woman writing from the first person perspective of a young black African girl who has been kidnapped by Boko Haram. And again, I just think I'm not really okay with that. Yeah, not really okay with that. So that's my long and rambling journey to tell you that the next few books I'm going to talk to you about are a mix of ones that have been nominated for the Women's Prize that I bought because I was still like, oh yeah, I'm going to read both. And then some books that I've bought because they're nominated for the Dalek Prize. Okay, you're with me? Cool. So the first one is Asha and the Spirit Bird by Jasbinder Balan. So this one is nominated for the Dalek Prize, and this is one I'm currently reading. So it's a kid's book. I want to say middle grade, and it's sort of fantasy. So it's set in India, and Asha is her father has gone away to the city and has been away for several months, I think, to earn the money to send it back. And it transpires that he stopped sending letters and stopped sending money quite a few months ago, and so his mother has had to borrow money from a moneylender, and now is, you know, having trouble being able to pay it back, and the moneylender is threatening to, you know, take their house, take their stuff, etc. So Asha decides that she is going to go to find her father, and, you know, whatever's happened to him, to get him back, bring him home, so that he can deal with the moneylender. And the spirit bird, so she believes essentially that her Nanaji, so her grandmother, her spirit is in a bird. And that's as far as I've got. I'm only 70 pages in. But it's very easy to read because it's middle grade, and it's very kind of mystical, and it says that this book in 3 words is magical Indian adventure. That very adequately describes it. So that's the first one. So I bought that and I am now reading that. The next one I have from the Dalek Prize is This Brutal House by Niven Govindan. So I don't actually think I know what this one is about. Apparently it's one of the Guardian must-read books of 2019. So I'll read you the blurb. They shall know our names, memorise these faces, Sherry, Tai-Tai and Diamonds, all the others whose names we could embroider onto quilts to cover this nation twice over. Even without photographs or other details, they shall dream as we dream, underscored by a meaty, substantial fear that snakes through fattened guts and settles in the marrow. They shall think of their own children and grandchildren, and quake for their safety, insides rotting with worry, and unable to live their lives, weighed down by the omnipresent threat of what might happen to their young if they too strayed to our side. They will learn the name of ours. I just realised that wasn't the blurb. Apologies. The blurb. I won't read you the whole blurb. Okay. Yeah, I still don't really understand what it's about. But I'm sure it's good, and I'm looking forward to reading it. So those are 2 that I bought for the Dalek Prize list. So there are quite a few that I already owned, and some which are on their way. So I'm sure will feature in the 3rd part of this series. So then the ones that were nominated for the women's list that I bought, so this one I actually won. This is Nightingale Point by Loudoun Voice, and Loudoun Voice herself did a giveaway on Instagram that I was lucky enough to win. And it actually came with a bright yellow tote bag with the picture of the book on it. I'm not sure where that is, but so that was very cool. So this is about 5 characters who all live in, I think, a single block of flats. And I think it's just told over one day. Yeah, it's a day like any other until something extraordinary happens. When the sun sets, Nightingale Point and its residents are irrevocably changed, and somehow through the darkness they must find a way back to lightness and back to each other. So I actually I won this before it was nominated for the Women's Prize, so I was obviously delighted when that turned out to be the case. So I think this one does sound really interesting, so I will try and get to that, even though I'm less committed to the Women's Prize now. 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. So this is a Greek mythology one. In the middle of the night, Creusa wakes to find her beloved Troy engulfed in flames. 10 seemingly endless years of brutal conflict between the Greeks and the Trojans are over, and the Greeks are victorious. Over the next few hours, the only life she has ever known will turn to ash. So I think what sold me on this one, firstly, is that I read Circe last year. Circe by Madeline Miller was shortlisted for the Women's Prize in 2019, and I read that and absolutely loved it. It was one of my favourites of last year. I've always kind of found the whole idea of like Greek myths. I love Greek mythology. I really loved it when I was a teenager. For some reason, when I'd heard a lot about Circe and I'd seen it, and something that put me off reading it was I feel like a perception that it was going to be a bit inaccessible, like a bit intellectual. And it was not that at all. I mean, it was very intelligent, but it was not intellectual and inaccessible. It was such a fantastic story. I absolutely loved it. And it really kind of reignited that interest and excitement I have about Greek mythology. So because I love that one so much, I really wanted to buy this one, because I thought even if I don't read the whole long list, I think this one might be one that I'll like. And then the last one is Dominicana by Angie Cruz. So this one is about 15-year-old Ana Cancion, who grew up in the Dominican countryside and has moved to America. So when Juan Ruiz proposes and promises to take her to New York City, she must say yes. It doesn't matter that he is twice her age and there is no love between them. Their marriage is an opportunity for her entire close-knit family to eventually immigrate. So this is about, so this is set in the 1960s. It's about someone who's grown up in the Dominican Republic, moving to New York City, and about marriage and all of that. So I think that one looks really interesting. So those are all the books that I was gifted, and some of the ones that I bought, some more of the ones that I bought in March. There will be another video that follows. I'd had a bit of a splurge on payday, so there are more books on their way, so I can't finish the series until I get those, but I will be back soon to tell you all about those. Also, I did a bit of a splurge on Lit Emporium, because you will have seen in previous videos I'd picked up a couple of sweatshirts over Christmas from Lit Emporium, and they are so comfortable, and given that we are now home-based and basically wearing like tracky bottoms, and so I am, and sweatshirts, payday was like, yes, I'm going to buy more of those because they are perfect lockdown attire. So this is the one I've got today, so you can see. So this is a quote from Jane Eyre: "I am no bird, no net ensnares me." Yes. I also bought another one which has Boats for Women on it, and a third which has a quote from Ophelia from Hamlet. Ophelia and Hamlet. Yes, but like I said, they are just so comfortable. So I will link them down below, and please do go and check them out if you like wearing sweatshirts, and if you like bookish merchandise. She has Rio at Lit Emporium has a lot of stuff there, and she is a small business, and it's really important to try and support small businesses at this very uncertain time. There we go. I've got through a whole load of books. I've rambled a lot. I'm going to stop now. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. And I will be back soon with another video. Bye.